Good morning. All right. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Society. We are grateful to gather on this beautiful morning, both in person and online, for a time of inspiration, reflection, and connection. Whether you're joining us in person or online, we are glad that you are here. And whether you're joining us today with joy in your heart, weighted with burdens, or searching for meaningful connections, we are glad that you are here. I'm the Reverend Diana Smith, the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Society, and my pronouns are she and her. I'm a somewhat tall white woman in my mid-40s with short, curly, white and brown hair, blue-green glasses, and a green soul. I'm sitting at the front of UUS's sanctuary. I'm a couple weeks out recovering from COVID, and I'm doing a lot better. And today, being seated is what I need to do. Our sanctuary is filled with people of all ages, and through the window walls of our sanctuary, we connect with the outdoors, where we can notice a beautiful early spring day. As we gather, we give thanks for this land and for all who have cared for it over the centuries, particularly the Kickapoo, the Iowa, the Sauk, and the Meskwaki, and the Oceti-Sakowin nations. As people of many ages, genders, races, sexual orientations, classes, abilities, and health statuses, we know how important it is to come together as a radically welcoming spiritual community. As Unitarian Universalists, our faith expresses our core value of love through how we agree to be together and to support each other. We're guided by the shared principles, sources, and values of our living religious tradition. And this morning, as we celebrate the Spring Equinox and reflect on hopeful responses to climate change, we're continuing our exploration of our values of transformation and interconnection. Today, we're having an all-ages worship service, which is followed by all-ages religious education. We do this on third Sundays because we know how important it is to this congregation to create multi-generational community. We know that there is so much we can learn from each other when members and friends of all ages are able to work together. The nursery will be available for children 5 and under throughout the service. If you're newer to our congregation, we invite you to learn more about us after the service. If you're here in person, there are greeters in the atrium, and if you're online, there's a link in the YouTube show notes that will let us connect with you. And our call to worship this morning comes from the poet Mary Oliver, who wrote, "It was spring, and finally I heard him among the first leaves. Then I saw him clutching the limb in an island of shade with his red-brown feathers, all trim and neat for the new year. First, I stood still and thought of nothing. Then I began to listen. Then I was filled with gladness, and that's when it happened. When I seemed to float, to be myself a wing or a tree, and I began to understand what the bird was saying. And the sands of the glass stopped for a pure white moment, while gravity sprinkled upwards like rain rising. And in fact, it became difficult to tell what it was that was singing. It was the thrush, for sure, but it seemed not a single thrush, but himself and all his brothers, and also the trees around them, as well as the gliding long-tailed clouds in the perfectly blue sky. All of them were singing. And of course, yes, so it seemed, so was I. Such soft and solemn, oh, nope, it's back, okay. And so, of course, yes, it seemed, so was I. Such soft and solemn and perfect music doesn't last for more than a few moments. It's one of those magical places wise people like to talk about. One of the things they say about it that is true is that once you've been there, You're there forever. Listen, everyone has a chance. Is it spring? Is it morning? Are there trees near you? And does your own soul need comforting? Quick then, open the door and fly on your heavy feet. The song may already be drifting away. And so, let's join our voices in song. We'll sing For the Flowers That Bloom About Our Feet. The words will be on the screen, or they're number 76 in the gray hymnal.
For flowers that bloom about our feet. For flowers that bloom about our feet, or tender grass so fresh and sweet, or song of bird and hum of bee, for all things fair we hear and see. Giver of all, we thank thee. For blue of stream and blue of sky, for pleasant shade of branches high, for fragrant air and cooling breeze, for beauty of the blooming trees. Giver of all, we thank thee. For this new morning with its light, our rest and shelter of the night, for health and food and love and friends, for everything thy goodness sends. Giver of all, we thank thee.
I'm Marcia Cheney, a worship associate, and my pronouns are she and her. I'm a slightly shorter than average white woman with long brown and purple hair, and I'm delighted to be here today to welcome spring. As Unitarian Universalists, we light a flame within a chalice as a symbol of sanctuary and safety, to unite us in our worship, and to remind us of our ongoing search for the light of truth. Please join me in saying our chalice lighting words as Coraline lights our chalice. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the wonder and mystery of this great gift. So let us now kindle the flame of our liberal religious heritage. You got no flame? So now let us kindle the flame of our liberal religious heritage and renew our covenant of mutual love and care. Love is our doctrine, the quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to serve those in need. This we promise, this we covenant with life and one another. Each week, we light a candle for justice and healing to acknowledge our interdependence with the natural world and with all members of the global community, especially the most vulnerable. We light this candle so that we may not be numbed to injustice and trauma, but rather find strength, courage, and love as we work in solidarity with others for liberation, justice, and healing. Together, we create resilience and hope. Today, as we light this candle, we're particularly mindful of the ambitious goals we've set to mitigate the impact of climate change. We will need to keep our minds open to new possibilities as scientists search for new ways to achieve our goals. As I light this candle, let's hold a time of silence to listen to our hearts and bodies, or perhaps to lift up prayers.
Okay. Well, lately, we've been noticing a special transformation, spring, right? It's hard not to notice the signs of spring everywhere. The leaves beginning to pop open on shrubs and trees, the yellow of daffodils and forsythia bursting forth, the swelling magnolia buds, and this morning, I think I saw some of those starting to pop open. The chatters and calls of birds, the squirrels and rabbits scurrying, the new grass that they and our dogs and our cats are nibbling at happily. The wonder of the transformation of the seasons really is all around us as we approach the spring equinox, that special point when, as the earth rotates, we have 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of nighttime, that point that marks the official beginning of spring, this year on Tuesday, March 19th. As we notice these changes, many of us are also noticing that this year spring has come to Iowa a few weeks early. A symptom of climate change where humans, through about a century and a half of burning fossil fuels, are causing changes to our climate. There are many things that we are doing and need to do more of to address climate change. These include things like working with the government to pass laws that reduce fossil fuels and increase green energy, protect water resources, create climate-oriented jobs, and create pathways for adaptation and resilience. There are also things that congregations like ours and individual people are doing to care for the earth. These are things like running our net zero building on geothermal and solar energy, those panels that you walk by, yes. Reducing and shifting to greener materials, composting, and creating spaces that are more friendly to wildlife. Now, you can learn more about these types of actions by visiting the Spring for Change Climate Justice Month resources that are linked in today's bibliography, or by joining our Green Sanctuary folks to do activities in the fellowship hall after this worship service. And there is another kind of action that people of all ages can take, the one that we're focusing on today, which is about reconnecting with the earth. As we connect with the earth, developing our understanding of natural systems and nurturing our sense of reverence, we find inspiration and hope that makes us create change. We learn more about the systems that we need to support. We understand ecology, that is the science of how Earth's systems work and interconnect, and how to care for the species that we share this planet with. And we find the interconnection that nurtures and sustains us. We feed our spirits. There's a special word that we can use to talk about this. It's biophilia. Kind of a big, strange word, but what this means is that we develop our connection with, our understanding of, and our love of the earth. Biophilia is why this congregation's building has these window walls that connect us directly with the outdoors. It's also the reason why we intentionally practice connecting with the earth through so much of our programming. And our love of earth and all who rely on this planet is why we work to notice and do the things that earth needs to be healthier and stronger. Taking the time and tuning our senses to pay attention to the earth and how it is transforming, both through the changes of spring and through longer-term climate changes, are part of how we learn what is needed, what we need to do, and where and how we need to act. They're actually part of creating possibility. Sometimes this is as simple yet important as picking up litter. Sometimes this is something like helping reduce material use and return materials to the natural cycle by composting. Sometimes this is something like moving to use more green energy as a family or as a congregation, or encouraging the government to take actions to make it easier for everyone to use green energy. And sometimes this is about something even bigger, like working with international groups of scientists and governments who are figuring out what we need to do and how to do it. And sometimes the way that we tune ourselves to earth and the powers of wonder and transformation is by planting a seed and helping it grow. Because while seeds need many of the same things, seeds are also different. In a moment, Nick is going to tell us more about different kinds of seeds and different kinds of needs. Because just like we all need to take different kinds of actions to care for our earth, and just like we need to nurture our love of earth in many ways, seeds, like the earth and like people, need different types of conditions and different types of tending if we are to sprout and grow. We need lots of different things to create possibility if we are to transform into what we can be, if we are to grow possibility. And so now, Nick, would you tell us a little bit more about seeds?
Sunflower seeds, who agrees? Lots of nods and hands. Those are sunflower seeds. Anyone know something special about what sunflower seeds need to grow? Sun. They definitely love the sun, don't they? They do. Once they bloom into flowers, they like to follow the sun, don't they? But the seeds don't actually need anything really special. Sunflower seeds are one of the easiest seeds to grow. So what are those things that a sunflower or other types of plants would need? We mentioned sunshine, water, and soil. They'll sprout in almost anything that we want them to or don't want them to. I have them popping up all over. Sometimes we even see things sprouting out of concrete, cracks in the concrete, right? So there's a whole group of seeds, not just sunflowers, that will grow just about anywhere with the right amount of water and sunshine. But not all seeds are that way. Can I have the next picture? Anybody recognize these? Yeah, milkweed. Saw lots of nods. Milkweed aren't quite as easy as things like sunflowers. All right, I again see lots of nods. What's something special that milkweed needs? Do you know? What? Lots of water is a good guess. Maybe pebbles, maybe something a little different to root itself. Good guess. Cold. Milkweed seeds need cold. They need a good winter or to be treated a certain way, and they need that cold. Sunflower seeds didn't need that, did they? No. And that's pretty cool. Can I have the next picture? It is a pine cone. Do you notice something special about this pine cone? There are two sides of this pine cone are attached to the tree. That's a good observation. Anything? Yeah. Fire and heat. That's exactly spot on. This pine cone, this one specifically, comes from a jack pine, and it does. It's this big fancy word, serotinous. It has special, really strong resin in it that holds the seed really tight. And the fire needs to come along to melt that away so that it can open up and grow. Why is that special? Why would something need fire like that? Yeah.
So the seed can be released?
So the seed can be released?
It's one of the first ones that reforest after they burn down.
It is. It comes in and it is one of the first plants to start growing after a forest gets burned down. So you'll find lots of plants with lots of serotinous plants in areas where they're regularly affected by fire. All right, let's see the next one, please. All right. Ooh. Anyone recognize this plant? Yeah. So this is a red berry. It is part of the buckthorn family.
They do not taste good.
They do not taste good. Okay. That's good to know. That is good to know. This plant also needs fire, but in a different way. So we're not entirely sure if it's the heat itself, if it's the chemicals from the smoke, or the nutrients that get exposed in the ground. So we had some types that needed the fire to melt the resin. We also have some seeds that react to fire for a different reason. And it's not the only one like that. So we've now talked about seeds that need just about anything, water, maybe soil, sunshine, ones that need cold, ones that need fire and heat and special chemicals. I have my last picture, please. Anyone recognize these? Nasturtium, I heard it. Nasturtium, what's special about this seed or others that might be like it with a really thick coating on them? Oh, I'm hearing something, but I'm not quite sure what. Can we repeat it? You can soak the seeds to make that softer. There's another thing that we can do to these types of seeds as well. Cut them gently, scratch them. Yeah. So all of these different plants and more need different things. Just like Reverend Diana was mentioning, that different actions might need to be taken in our world, or that we as humans might need different things. Plants need different things. Some of the change that we want to plant might be very quick and might take root no matter what. It might be more like that sunflower seed that we saw. And then others, like jack pine, the change that we want to see might take a really long time before that fire comes along and creates that change. Different people need different things, different change needs different things. We get to be agents of that change. coming along and scratching or cutting the seed or soaking it, or maybe doing something else that really helps nourish that change. We get to be agents of change, whether it's personal or it's in our communities or it's at the legislative level. We get to be those agents. Soon, we will plant physical seeds to represent the metaphorical changes we wish to see in our world. But first, Marcia will lead us through our offertory where we get to see another way that we can make concrete change in our world.
So how we give, what we do with our lives, our time, and our resources is a reflection of our values. In response to the abundance we're blessed with, every week this congregation donates generously to organizations in the community whose work aligns with our values and principles. So one of the things we humans need from time to time is health care. And our community partner agency this month is the Free Medical Clinic. The Free Medical Clinic provides medical, specialty, and basic dental care and prescriptions to those without insurance. Close to 300 volunteers from various disciplines provide thousands of hours of services to the clinic each year, providing patients with quality and compassionate health care. In the sanctuary, the ushers will collect the offering, or you can follow the instructions on the screen for how to give online. All cash contributions go directly to our community partner agency. In addition to assisting our community partner, you may contribute to your pledge to our society or contribute to the congregation to provide additional support for our operating expenses. You may also contribute by check using the memo line to designate the purpose. During all ages worship service on the third Sunday of the month, we also collect a tangible offering. This month, we're collecting food for UUS's Little Free Pantry. During the offertory, you can bring those items forward if you brought some. The offering is a sign of commitment to this free congregation, which is completely supported by the generosity of all who join with us. As we give and receive the offering, may we be transformed by our giving, and may the world be transformed by our gifts. She comes like a breath of fresh air, and you cannot help but fill your lungs. She comes like the shoot rising upward, and you cannot help but lift your eyes to the sky. She comes like the flower bursting forth, and you cannot help but laugh with delight. She comes like the urge to dance, and you cannot help but spread your arms wide. She comes like the first warm rains, and you cannot help but cry tears of joy. She comes like the scent of all beginnings, and you cannot help but open your heart.
So one way of reconnecting with Earth, of connecting with the spring that Marcia was just talking about, of connecting with this planet in all her glory, is through the green growing things of this earth. Another way is by connecting through the food that we eat. And today, we're going to invite you to plant a seed in honor of our connections with Earth and with communities around the world and the possibilities and transformation that we create together. For this ritual, we're going to invite you in a little bit to come up or to head to the back and to take a cup and fill it with soil. This soil is earth, nourishing our seeds, our life. Compost is mixed in with this soil because what is dead is still part of our world and nourishes new life, new possibility. Nothing can live without all that came before it, without being part of the cycle of life. In this way, the legacy of the past comes into today to nourish our dreams and our future. Once you fill your cup with soil, make a little hole in it, about a half an inch deep. You can't really see this, but I'm making a little hole in my soil. We must create safe places, containers to honor the deep work that each of us must do to grieve, to hope, and to connect. This hole represents what holds us. We know that we must grow out of it, and we need this safe place. And then you'll take a seed, and you'll place it in the hole. And then take a second seed and place it next to the first one. We do this because we cannot do this work alone. None of us can. We are all in it together. And then cover your seeds. There you go. And take a little bit of water. This is the water of life. While you're pouring a small amount of water in your planted seed, I invite you to think of all the blessings that water brings to your life, the sacredness of water, and water justice as you do this, for water is life. And then you may take your planted seed home with you. Keep watering them a little, place them in an area where they can have sunlight, and when you begin to see a sprout, plant them where bees can get to them and see what grows. Hopefully, in a few months, we'll have some beans that we can eat. You may even want to plant them in our UUS garden or have them at home. It's up to you. Now, we're going to invite you to come forward and plant a seed in honor of our connections with Earth and with communities around the world. Nick, Marcia, and I will help you. There are going to be 4 stations up front, and there's a station in the back, and it looks like Nick is out there to help people who are towards the back, who find that more convenient, and everyone who wants to can also come forward. There are words for the musical meditation that we're going to be singing while we plant seeds, and those will be on the screen. And so now, let's plant some seeds of possibility.
This meditation was written actually by Marcia Cheney, and you haven't heard it before, it's brand new, but feel free to sing along once you get the hang of it. Small brown seed, dark damp earth, hungry for the light of fire, driven by a deep desire. Summon the will, crack the shell, grow. Small brown seed, dark damp earth, hungry for the light of fire, driven by a deep desire. Summon the will, crack small brown seed, dark damp earth, hungry for the light of fire, driven by a deep desire, summon the will, crack the shell, grow, small brown seed, dark damp earth, hungry for the light of fire, driven by a deep desire, summon the will, crack the shell, grow, small brown seed, dark damp earth, hungry for the light of fire, driven by a deep desire, summon the will, crack the shell, grow, small brown seed, dark damp earth, hungry for the light of fire, driven by a deep desire, summon the will, crack the shell, grow, small brown seed, dark damp earth, hungry for the light of fire, driven by a deep desire, summon the will, crack the shell, small brown seed, dark damp earth, hungry for the light of fire, driven by a deep desire, summon the will, crack the shell, grow.
Wonderful. Now, as we enter into our time of meditation, contemplation, and prayer, I invite you to get comfortable where you're seated. Now close your eyes and take a deep, cleansing breath. In and out. And another. In and out. And one more. And out. Feel your connection to the earth below you, the sky above you, and to your community around you. Now imagine yourself as a seed, a single seed that matured at last year's harvest and has been dormant through the winter. You find yourself planted in the earth. Feel the cool, dark earth as it surrounds you, embraces you. And then the rain comes. It soaks through the soil, and it soaks into you through your seed hole, that hard covering that surrounds you. And you begin to expand as you drink in the sweet water. After the dormant time of winter, your cells become active, beginning to grow, beginning to divide. You grow so much that that hard seed hole can no longer contain you. It cracks open. And now you have tendrils that begin to move through the soil, questing, seeking for more water, for the nutrients you need. Although you are tiny and the earth is heavy, it is moved by your persistence, by the strength of the life that is in you that begins to grow. Some of your tendrils sink deep into the earth, becoming roots, moving through the earth to find the food that you need to grow. Some of your tendrils begin to feel warmth. The rains are gone. The sun is shining again. Your main stalk races towards the light and the fire, shooting up through the earth towards the warmth you crave. And at last, you emerge into the air. Feel its soft touch as it moves you. Here you begin to unfold, leaves spreading wide to be caressed by the spring air, drawing in energy from the sun, drawing on your faithful, sturdy roots as you grow, as you embody the spring miracle of returning life. Feel how much you have changed since you were the small, hard seed buried in the earth, how earth, water, air, and fire or sun have enabled your transformation into a new form, one that is active and growing, that is creating change. Now slowly begin to become aware of your own body again. Feel its boundaries, its shape. Feel how the experience you've just had applies to your own life. Since we're not actual plants, we experience the process of sprouting in different ways. But one thing remains the same: the opening up, when we soak in the energy of the universe, of our communities, when we draw spirit into ourselves. It's a way of planting a seed of love within ourselves. And when that love germinates and grows, it opens us up from the inside out, changing us, cracking open our preconceived notions and things that were holding us back, helping us break out of the shell that had surrounded us. And now Marcia will lead us in a blessing.
Think about how you want to experience sprouting in your own life and settle on one intent. When you have that intent firmly in mind, take a few more deep breaths, and when you're ready, open your eyes. I now invite you to join me in a self-blessing as a way to plant the seeds of that intent within yourself and within your own life. From the Eastern traditions, we've learned about a system of energy centers within our bodies the chakra system, through which our personal life energy connects to that energy in the universe. The 7 primary chakras are located along the midline of our bodies, starting at the base of the spine and moving up to the crown of the head. In the West, we've associated a specific color with each chakra as well. For this blessing, I will introduce the location and color of that chakra so that you can place your hands over it or visualize a sphere of colored energy there. I'll say a short blessing and then pause so that you can personalize your intent. After the pause following each blessing, I will sound a chime, and if you're comfortable doing so, I invite you to seal that intent by saying, "Blessed be." Starting with the root chakra, located at the base of the spine and associated with the color red. Blessed be our roots, as we draw on them to support us and to nourish the seeds that we plant within ourselves and our lives. Blessed be. Moving up to the sacral chakra, a couple inches below the belly button and associated with the color orange. Blessed be our bellies that empower us to plant the seeds of our desire within ourselves and our lives. Blessed be. Moving up a few inches above the belly button is the solar plexus chakra with its bright yellow energy. Blessed be the source of our energy so that it can feed our growth as the seeds we plant begin to sprout. Blessed be. In the center of the chest is the heart chakra, glowing a vibrant green. Blessed be our hearts, so that as we grow, we are open to feel love. Blessed be. Moving up now to the throat chakra, a blue energy center spins over our vocal cords. Blessed be our throats, so that as we grow, we are able to speak our truth. Blessed be. Moving still higher, between the eyebrows is the third eye chakra, glowing indigo. Blessed be our third eye, so that as we grow, our vision is clear. Blessed be. And finally, at the crown of our heads is a bright violet light. Blessed be our crown, that the energy of springtime may enter into us and into our lives to nurture the change we desire. Blessed be. We have planted the seeds of love, of new beginnings and transformations within us again with the coming of spring. May they bloom and grow in each of us. Blessed be. Nurturing gratitude and how we understand and express interdependence is part of how we live into our Unitarian Universalist faith. May what has been shared today help us more fully affirm our interconnection and live into love and justice. Immediately after the main worship service and on All Ages Sundays, we have All Ages Religious Education. There are diverse activities to choose from that engage participants in the theme for the month. This month's theme is transformation. Join members of the Green Sanctuary team to learn about transforming an outdoor space for wildlife, or to learn how to recognize the creature friends, especially insects, that are enjoying our outdoor space. You're also invited to make a flower for a collaborative spring bouquet. We ask adults to stay with their children during the all ages religious education. And now to close our service today, we'll sing hymn number 396, I Know This Rose Will Open. Please rise in body and spirit as you're able.
One more time.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
Please join me in the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. All these we carry in our hearts and in our minds until we are together again.
As you move out into the world this day and this week, may you go noticing. May you go loving the earth. And may you go in peace, love, and justice, living love ever more fully and fiercely into this world. Amen and blessed, blessed be.